Kaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtai Ramakrishna Te Namah. Namaskars, greetings to one and all. Today's topic is about facing our fears. Facing our fears. Fear is an experience which all of us can relate to. It is nothing new for anybody. In some point of their lives, every one of us have encountered fear. And we know for sure that if it was not for fear, probably all of us would have achieved something more, something great, something big. So what is this fear? Fear is a natural, powerful and a primitive emotion which affects all of us. This has its use also. This alerts us to the presence of danger. The danger could be on a physical level or at a psychological level. Now what is important is how we can understand this fear and overcome it. It involves two aspects, an universal aspect. The universal aspect of, the biochemical responses, and an individual response of our emotions. So with this, we need to understand and overcome our fear. Fear as such is an essential tool in our lives, but the problem starts when fear starts overbearing our logical and creative faculties. That is where the problem starts. Swami Vivekananda has rightly pointed out, life is about expansion, and when we contract, we encounter death. So what fear does is, it contracts our life. Our expansion of life goes away. That is the reason where we need to confront and overcome fear. When we see Swami Vivekananda, what do we feel? Swami Vivekananda, when we read his works, we observe his personality, we instinctively feel a sense of strength, courage, a personality, a leonine personality. Swami Vivekananda's power is got out from his purity. This power which radiates, this power which inspires people, it doesn't invoke fear as the normal sense of power invokes. So we're talking about this kind of power which Swami Vivekananda radiates. Swami Vivekananda's life is not indifferent to these kind of challenges. When one reads his life, when one goes through the incidents in his life, Swamiji has surmounted the insurmountable. He has faced innumerable problems and he's overcome that. So Swami Vivekananda's thoughts on this would definitely help each one of us to understand this concept of fear properly. So the question here was how we can face fear. So I'd like to place before all of you Swami Vivekananda's two thoughts which I've echoed through all his works. Those two thoughts, number one, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapyavarani Bodhata. Arise awake, stop not till the goal is reached. The second one is the word Abhi. Swamiji talks about fearlessness. What is this fearlessness? So these two concepts I place before you. We'll dwell on that briefly. The first one, Uttishtata Jagrata, arise awake. See, to be able to arise, to be able to rise, we need to know where are we standing. What is the premise in which we are standing. That foundation we need to understand. That fundamental principles of life, which is a combination of three aspects. One, vision. Two, strength. And third, purpose. So if you're able to understand these three things of vision, strength and purpose, we'll be able to rise, as Swami Vivekananda says. The second is about failures. I'm sure all of us have encountered and confronted failures in our life. Failures is not a new thing. We all have faced failures, no exceptions. When we analyze it in a critical way, when we analyze it deeply, we find that we have not paid attention to the means, the methods of our approach. That is why failures have happened. It is very important to understand the cause as well as the effect. Cause is important. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. We need to understand, or we need to give proper attention to the finishing, strengthening of the means is what we need. That is what Swami Vivekananda repeatedly says in his works. Now the second exhortation, Abihabib, fearlessness. This word appeared in the Rig Veda, Book 1, Hymn 164. It is used frequently in the Upanishads, in the Gita, and various other scriptures. This also means abhimukha, seeing towards. And also it means which means no, and bhi means fear, which means no fear. This is that context which Swami Vivekananda applies it in his teachings and life. Do not be afraid, not to be afraid. One of Swami Vivekananda's emphatic quotes I would like to place before you. Strength, O man, strength, says the Upanishads. Stand up and be strong. It is the only literature in the world where you find the word abhi, fearlessness, used again and again, again and again. In no other scripture in the world is this adjective applied either to God or to man. One important way to overcome fear, on a practical way, on a pragmatic way, is mastering the art of centering oneself. Where is our center? Where is our center in our life is? When we are off-centered, we are susceptible to various forces and we get disturbed. Fear is one such emotion which disturbs us, which we need to overcome it. Our minds oscillate between the past and the future. It's always anxious or worried. So we need to understand, to have or cultivate that presence of asking our mind to be at the present. How we can cultivate that aspect of our mind. Swami Vivekananda rightly instructs us when he says, by doing well the duty which is nearest to us, the duty which is in our hands now, we make ourselves stronger. And improving our strength in this manner, step by step, we may reach a state in which it shall be our privilege to do the most coveted and honored duties of our society. We all want to be at the top rung of the hierarchical system. So if we want to contribute more, we need to understand, to begin at what we are there now. What is there within us, with us right now. Two aspects of our life, weaknesses, strength, virtue, vice, heaven, hell, life, death. These two extremities are what Swamiji talks about. Is not differences in kind, but Swamiji says it is differences in degree. Differences in degree. Because Swamiji says oneness is at the secret of everything. Oneness, oneness, oneness. So this insight of connecting ourselves with the higher source, connecting ourselves with the oneness in the universe, transforms us and liberates us. With that, we will not only be able to overcome fear, but all such weaknesses which we can surmount in our lives. With this, I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Jai Ramakrishna.